think the music is different now in some aspects. The business is different. What do you attribute to getting that shot early on? Was it your music or was it your grind?
It was a combination of both. We were just very hungry. We, you know, if we had 2 days off, we would just get on the road and drive to New York and try to make it happen. Also, it was like we more or less structured our job around the music business versus structuring the music business around our job. So, you know, the 9 to 5 wasn't even an option for us. It was like, let's find a pie job so that we can make a little bit of money to pay bills, but then break out on the weekends. And if we lose the job, so what? You know, we'll go find another one or whatnot. So it was just more about our grind. And I personally worked third shift, so what I would do is like I would get off at 7, sleep to 12, and then make beats all day, all the way till it was time to go to work. So by the end of the week, I had like a whole arsenal full of, you know, music to play people when we would take these trips. And for me as a producer, working with Puffy, working with Vincent Herbert, all these different, you know, executives, they were always impressed that I had a huge catalog of music. And that came from me just, you know, constantly being prepared and constantly making music on a regular basis. And I think between that and our drive to just be successful in the music business, that's how we got on. And it was like it never occurred to me that we couldn't make it. Like that was just never a thought in my mind. Like, what do we do if we don't make it? It was just, all right, that doesn't work, let's take this avenue. If this doesn't work, let's do that or whatever. And so, you know, we all found our way from being artists to being producers to being in management. You know, we always just knew that, you know, there was something that we could do in the music business because we just had a love for it like that.
Talk a little bit about how, with the music business changing, how it affects the plight of the producer coming up.
Oof. Well, that's different because now with the producer coming up, it's so oversaturated now. It's so many producers. It's so easy for them to do production. Like, you know, before you either had to play an instrument or, you know, most people couldn't afford equipment. So it was, the producers were very small, you know, it was a small circle. Maybe like 30, 40 producers. Now it's like 30, 40,000 producers. There's a kid in Kansas that's making beats in his house that all of a sudden he's got the #1 record on the radio that he produced from a beat that he made on Fruity Loops or something in his house. So it's changed in that aspect, but you know, and also too because the music education programs are not the same anymore. Kids don't go to church anymore as much as they used to. Parents don't make them go to church anymore like they used to. So, you know, it affects the whole production thing because, you know, the greatest singers and producers and musicians came out of the church. And when you don't have that and you don't have it in the schools, now you have a bunch of producers that are just programmers versus like, you know, real musicians. And then at the same time, it's like you can make a beat, but there's a difference between making a beat and producing a record. You know, I come from the school of studying people like Quincy Jones and Phil Spector and all these great producers that knew how to put the team together. And that's really what a producer does. He doesn't necessarily even have to play anything as long as he can find the greatest musicians and the greatest writers and the greatest singers and put it all together and have a vision for the song and know how to make all those pieces work, then you know how to produce a record. And that will never go out of style. You know, trends will come for other producers, young producers, but being able to make an actual record that is a classic piece of material, that will never go out of style. There's going to be a hit record that's always going to get through, that it's certain elements that go into that record that are timeless, you know. And when you look at the writers like Smokey Robinson and all those big time writers during the Motown era, they had a formula that they used to make hit records, whether it was certain melodies that resonate with people, whether it was lyrics or all these different things, song structure, arrangements, all these different things. They knew how to do that, and they knew how to consistently do that, and that's why they were successful. So if you know how to do that, you'll always be able to surpass the trends that come musically, and you'll still be able to have a career as a producer.